Hi, I'm Coach Michael Burt. To get a free copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, text 678-506-7543. Text to get a copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster, and I'm going to turn you into a legendary creature.
And getting back to what is Todd really good at? What am I really good at? What's led me to where I'm at to this point? And I found for myself that one of my best skill sets is providing opportunity for people.
Okay.
And once I realized that, I'm like, that's it. I got to get, and I think you and I even had a conversation, because I remember telling you how frustrated I was with, the academy, and, it wasn't clicking like it was supposed to. And, you made mention, like, why are you focusing on something that's not the bulk of your income?
Right.
Like, don't let that hold you back. And after you and I had that conversation, I did a huge deep dive on my skill set. And everyone has a skill set, and you talk about that a lot. And I think it's really important to recognize what you do and what you do really, really well, and just get focused on that, right? And now I was fortunate. I give these opportunities out. Another skill set that I had that I developed a while back was coaching. I coach high school basketball for 20 plus years, just like yourself. So it's been a nice combination of providing great opportunities, but then following that up and coaching these people to success. So like, that was the first step of where I could start seeing huge spikes in my growth, is just getting really dialed in and focused on one thing. And that's helped a bunch.
Let's talk about that, because the people that are on here, the people that are on here, I heard the same thing last night from Ramiz Hakim when I was talking to him about responsibility rationing. I've heard the same thing from Judge Graham, who's a friend of mine that's even looked at my business and said, you're too broad. There's riches and niches. Like, we hear these cliches, but the reality is the people who are really, really prospering are people who pick a lane and say, this is what we're going to dominate in. Like Ramiz and them last night said, we choose final death expense insurance is for people earning less than $40,000 a year. They're this age. We're selling to this group, right? Like, we go deep. And that's really what I want to talk about with you today, because the concept of next level is objective, right? Like what does it mean to go to the next level? Does it mean, you go from a single digit millionaire to a double digit? Well, then you get double digit. Then there's always somebody who's triple digit. Then, right? Like, next level for a lot of people is just nebulous. It's like, what is it? What does it mean? So
100%.
so I think we have to get clear first on some of the things you're talking about. I talk a lot about primary skills, which sounds like what you went through in January was a period of confusion. Confusion is I'm doing too many things. I need clarity, right? The first thing I need is clarity.
Yep.
What brought you the clarity? Because then what I hear you saying is that you then tapped into your primary skills, which were coaching and giving people opportunity, right? Like, you went back to the core of who you are, right? Of what you bring to the table. What brought you the clarity? Because there's a lot of people watching this and are going to watch this and go, man, I'm chasing anything right now that breathes, right?
Right. And I think it's okay, as time goes on, it's okay to start picking up some other things. When you start having a lot of excessive cash, and, then maybe start tapping into some other lanes. But I think, when I hit my 2019 goal, I still looked back and was thinking, I'm still not there yet. I'm thinking too small. And realizing, once I realized what I was really good at, it started snowballing with some of the people that I was partnering with one of my main partners, Waylon Archer. Cheryl Hinnett is another one. And we kind of have a couple different things going. But Coach, what I think really sparked me on wanting to really focus on that skill set was taking it one step further of, now that I realize what that skill set was, now try to be the best version of myself that I possibly could be. Quit trying to be like everybody. I could only create me, and now try to establish that habit every single day, because, and that will sound cliche, that will sound like, oh my gosh, I've heard this so many times, blah, 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 right? But once you actually apply that, I mean, just hearing that, the people that actually apply that message right there, those two things, the skill set and being the best version of themselves that they can possibly be, they don't need to hear anymore. Everything else is going to take care of itself.
So to all the people that are watching this right now, this is critical, man, because for years, I was having this talk this morning with another insurance guy who is over X number of reps. People just stay in a fog of confusion. It was me when I was a basketball coach, Todd, for 6 years, getting beat by the same person every year. Right. And then going home and blaming everybody else. And then getting clarity over what I needed to do. So for lots of people, it's called a ceiling of complexity. All right. And for you, talk about the ceiling that you hit in your insurance career, because the story I hear people saying is, I hit a ceiling, I hit a ceiling, I hit a ceiling, I hit a ceiling. And I didn't make any different moves. I just kept expecting I could work harder. Sometimes working harder ain't the solution, folks. I know you mentioned Brad Lee. Brad Lee would be the first one to tell you working harder ain't always a solution. And you hear people say work smarter. Well, let me use a different word. Sometimes it's a total strategy decision, meaning you need a new freaking strategy. You don't need to work harder. You already work as hard as you can. You need to step back. So what was the ceiling that you had? What was the ceiling that you hit? And then what was the catalyst to bust out of that ceiling? Because to me, that's next level growth. Next level growth is you go from here to here to here, and it's like a perpetual, like it's just growing.
Yeah, and this is why I wanted to do this call. Like when we talked earlier, this is why I wanted to do this, because of what I'm applying, what I'm experiencing. Coach, the ceiling, what I hit was myself. I realized I had way too many distractions. I was around. So I think when people say, I've hit a ceiling, I would challenge it. I don't think you did. I would look at what kind of distractions do you have going on? And it could be a wide variety of things. What kind of people are you associating with? Like when you eliminate the distractions and you eliminate the negativity and the drama and all the, lack of better terms, all the crap.
Yeah.
You're going to start having growth. And when we talk next level growth, everybody's level is completely different. It could be a health, it could be spiritual, it could be professional. It really doesn't matter. But I kind of throw all that. When I realized I was getting in the way of myself, that was the ceiling.
Well, let me say something to that, because we've been watching, I'm sure you've been watching The Last Dance about Michael Jordan. And
yes.
And, I asked Tim Grover once, do big time people lose their confidence? And he made a statement I'll never forget. He said, big time people never lose their confidence, but they do lose their focus.
Mm-hmm.
They get distracted. And so I think for the people watching this, now I want to go back to the decision that you made, because this is big, in my opinion. This is one of the biggest things you've done. I want to go back to a decision that absolutely scared you to death. 2 years ago, we were in Miami at the 10X conference. We were in a suite that I think I paid $50,000 for. Right. And I was doing my own little mini conference. I got my feelings hurt because Cardone wouldn't have me back on the main stage. So I said, screw it. Right. I'll have my own conference in a suite at your conference. Yep. And Cardone thought it was genius, by the way. He's like, you're the smartest dude here because you use my conference to make money. And so, you're up there in the box. We just got to know each other. You had met me, I think, at probably 8% Nation before?
8%, yeah.
8% Nation. Right. And you came up to the box, and in that box, you signed a $25,000 coaching agreement. Right? And I'm telling you, because this is a struggle. Like I was on my sales team today, because we got some salespeople say nobody's buying anything. I can't get them to spend any money. I was on the phone yesterday with a dude that was doing 100 million last year. He says he's going to do 40 million this year, and he's still willing to spend the money to get his people coached. So so my point to my sales team is quit assuming. Like, quit assuming people won't spend money, because there are people out there who see this, but talk about how you, not why you just made the decision to go to the 25K level, but what it did for you, because now you spend money. Now you reinvest money. And now that used to scare you. Now you're investing in partnerships and online academies and marketing. And you probably wouldn't have done that until you started making these big decisions.
Oh, there's no way. There's no way I would have. So what I kind of realized was, number one, and you talk about this a lot, I put in a lot of work. I surround myself with good people, but there's still sometimes where you get confusion, where you're all you know is what you know and the people around you. So when I started getting, coached where people are outside looking in, making suggestions, what I found was I started becoming better. I become a better coach, a trainer, person. And probably the biggest thing that I've seen is when you eliminate the contracting, and I actually did a video on this in my academy, that is the shortcut to success.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because as soon as you eliminate because I think everybody starts out with an idea, a great intent in mind. And then as they travel, right, you start gaining a lot of momentum, and now you're ready for the next step. And you take that step like I did when I signed on with you. And then it's like, oh crap, now I'm scared. Now I'm trying to reel back in. And that's why we had that call at 5:30 in the morning, and basically screaming at each other. It was one of the best calls I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
But when I eliminated that contraction and that whole mindset there, and then just went straight across to momentum, straight across and back up, instead of that circle is now your triangle. And you're eliminating a step. And that step is one that you don't want anyway. That's when you're scared.
I love that. And I want people out there, because I come across so many people. Brandon Heap is a successful insurance guy who's on here with us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of successful. Michael Burkhalter is a monster producer that's on here with us. There's a lot of people in the coaching program and around the country. But this was scary for me. When I first started making money, Todd, I was scared to death to spend it. I mean, I would literally sit on hundreds of thousands of dollars and wouldn't do anything, because I was a scarcity minded person. And then I started getting around bigger thinkers, which you've alluded to multiple times. And they started going, dude, you got to use this cash to make more cash.
Right.
Like I'm working with a dude who made 23 million the other day as part of the COVID deal, and turned around and reinvested 22 million of it the next day because he's going to be a billionaire. Right. Now most people would have got the 23 million and took it to the house and did this. Big time people understand. And this is what Tommy Davidson, who's been in my 25K level for years, he was scared to death too. And now he's making 80,000 a month, where he was making 80,000 a year. And he told me every big decision you make makes it easier to make the big decision the next time. So when you made that 25K investment, for the first couple of weeks, you were scared. How am I going to get my money back? Oh my God, I'm spending $2,000 a month. All these type things. Right. And then you converted the fear. There was a conversion of fear to fuel. And then since then, you have been a damn maniac in a good way. Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
The monster. Here's the point I'm trying to make. There was a monster inside of Todd Turnbull. All these years of experience, all this, and then it's like, boom, he flipped a switch. And when he flipped the switch, it's on, man. There is no going back. There is no other road. There is no doubt. I'm going to convert every ounce of doubt to fuel. And so that's really what I've seen you do, which I think you rank up there, in my opinion, as one of the top success stories of monster producer that we've ever had. I think you, Tommy Davidson, there's a few people who I constantly say, let me tell you about this dude in Ohio. And let me tell you let me tell you the knockdown drag out fight we had at 5:30 in the morning. And he said, I'm scared. I'm like, I ain't letting you quit, man. Okay. We're not even having this discussion. And here's what I told Todd that day. Full transparency. I said, you give me 90 days at this level. And if it don't work in 90 days, I'll let you out of your contract. And to Todd's credit, he said, all right, that's a deal. And he went 90 days and boom, look at what's happened over the last 2 years, which has been really freaking phenomenal. So let's talk about the leverage, because that's something I haven't talked a lot about. I talked about it with Ramiz last night, and obviously they understand the concept of leverage. I'm a big Randy Gage fan on prosperity, and he said you'll never get wealthy until you understand leverage, right? Yeah. And leverage is teams. Leverage is other people's time and energy and talents, but there's a synergy. You're bringing something to them. You're giving them an opportunity to make more money. You're giving them coaching. You're giving them structure. You're giving them products and services. But let's talk about the leverage point, because now you're in the business of recruiting, building teams, helping other people, coaching. Talk about that structure of going from one to ever how many people you have today, and how you actually feed those people.
Well, I think a big thing is strategically partnering with people. And when you're talking about the things that you're talking about, and the same goes with me, you either have a concept, or you have a skill set, or you have both. And there's people out there, when you want to do something big, you want to grow, you want to do something at the next level, you can't do it by yourself. And there's a lot, and that's how our explosion happened. I had a skill set, Waylon and I worked together for quite a while. I got a skill set, he's got a skill set, and both are really good. And when we combined those two, we exploded. And the same goes with Cheryl and I when we did the academy. We both have a skill set. They're both dynamic. They're both diverse. But when you combine the two, explosion of growth. So I think people out there, when you recognize, hey, what is my skill set? Who could use my skill set? Who could use my concept? Who could use both? You're going to hit one of the three, right?
That's good.
And you and I've had that experience. Bradley and I have had that experience. Me and my partners. So the people that I bring into the agency, they recognize that I have a lot of certainty, right? I got a lot of confidence in the opportunities that we provide. They recognize that skill set. And I think it don't matter, especially right now, Coach, everybody wants certainty, right? They want to be partnering with people that have a lot of confidence in what they're doing. So I focus on tapping into those three things. Who would be interested in my concept, who's interested in my skill set. And if those beliefs align, and you really hit that home early on when I started exploding in the growth, was align with people where your beliefs align. If there's conflict right away, you know what? Move on.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work.
Well, I think about, as you're saying that, my mind is going back to maybe the 10X that I spoke at, or maybe the third one, or one of them when Ty Lopez was speaking. And Lopez, in some cases, fundamentally disagrees with a guy like Cardone, that you don't have to work 120 hours a week, that what you really do is you combine skill sets, right? Like you partner with someone, and he used the example of partnering with the other guy, and they've started Mentor Box, and he said, I give basically 5 hours of my time a week, my skill set that I've worked years for. He gives the work, I give my expertise, and we've turned it into a 30 or 40, $50 million company.
Right.
And that's most of us are hardwired to just grind. We get up, we grind. Life is hard. Yeah. Life is hard. Work is hard. You got to work out hard. You got to do it hard. Right. And then you see people like him come along that kind of creates a cognitive dissonance. And it's like, well, I got a skill set and she's got a skill set. And what if we just partnered and it didn't have to be this hard?
Yeah.
How many times have you gone home at night, beating your head against the wall going, dadgummit, it don't have to be this hard. I see so-and-so over there making millions of dollars and they don't work like I do. Like, so you've partnered now. At what point did you realize I want to partner with someone who has like Cheryl with the background in credit and what you're doing there? And at what point did you say, instead of trying to do all this on my own, man, there's partnerships here where I can bring my skill set and their skill set. What was the aha moment for you on that?
Yeah, the aha moment was, especially with Cheryl, was I enjoyed being around her.
Yeah.
She's very positive. The first time I stepped in their office down in Orlando, it was like this atmosphere. I mean, everybody greeted you. Everybody was smiling. Everybody was working hard. I mean, they're almost tripping over you, trying to introduce themselves, and everything about her. I mean, her spiritual side, her knowledge is, there's nobody more knowledgeable than her on credit and business, really. I mean, she's just phenomenal. So the aha moment is like, I enjoy having success with people. It's no fun doing it by yourself. So when I start recognizing, like, man, I like being around her, and the same goes with Angel. I mean, they're all in the same building, and you can feel that energy. You know, the synergy between us. It was like, man, we got to make something happen here. You know, and it took a minute to like, how can we tie in credit with insurance? And then one thing led into another. Now we're doing Max Your Income Academy, which is another stream of income, but providing a ton of value to the people that get in it. But to answer your question, the aha moment is when you enjoy working with somebody and they have a strong skill set and you do as well.
It's good. I'm making some notes here as you're talking. All right, let's talk about this concept of Max Your Income Academy. How does that play into, because you guys, just tell everybody what you sell out there so everybody's clear, because there's different types of insurance, there's different types.
Yeah.
You know, some people
we're a full independent brokerage. So like my main thing is United Senior Professionals. I'm partnered with Innovative Financial Group. We're a full independent insurance brokerage. And like with the academy, what I did, Coach, was it's not, that academy is not insurance specific. It's more sales specific on my side. So I took, you know, what I've learned from my 20 years of coaching, my experience from owning the couple businesses that I did prior to insurance, which those were very successful as well. Had some great partners back then that I learned from. And then the knowledge that I've gained so far from building an insurance agency. And I built all that in for sales, you know, a sales system, you know, how to close more deals, referrals, leadership, how to build an agency, you know, how to find the right vehicles for success. And then we took that in with all of Cheryl's credit knowledge and morphed the two together and built Max Your Income Academy. And she's extraordinary when it comes to trying to leverage banks, leverage credit cards, leverage credit, how to find hidden money. You know, the knowledge that she shares in these videos. I'll give you an example. Like right now, credit's everything, right? Credit score is paramount. You know, try to get a loan if you can get a loan, or a better interest rate. And, you know, you can get better interest rates if your credit score is higher, right? So just in the past couple of weeks, we saved one guy $500 a month just because he was able to get his credit score higher. He got a better interest rate. Myself, with my wife and I saved $174 a month, you know, which may not sound like a lot, but that's money I was just giving away.
Yeah.
You know, now I can go invest it and do what I want with it. It's mine. So, but if I didn't have her knowledge on that, heck, I wouldn't have known. I'd have kept doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, and same with that.
That's really what she does based on what you told me.
Yeah.
Is, man, she, contrary to what people tell you folks, when you hear people say there are no secrets, that's BS. Okay. The people who are really doing it know the secrets. They expedite. They see. It's almost like going fishing with polarized glasses. You know, when you go deep sea fishing, right? They can see where the fish are. They don't just ride around in the ocean for hours. They go directly to where the big fish are. Okay. So I think what I'm hearing you say, Todd, is a good coach, Cheryl, a credit coach, you coaching, right? What you do is you see things that other people don't see. You know, I'm working on a really big deal. I'm working on a really big deal right now. And I've gone to two really true experts that have done mega deals. And, you know, they see things I don't see. They have structures I don't know. They know things I don't know. They're like, hey, nope, you don't need to do it that way. You need to do it this way. You need to do it this way. And once you've been down the road a little bit, you can tell people, don't do that. This is not a good way to do it. Like, there's a better way here.
Better way in sales. I mean, when you're coaching people in sales, just like you do, all of a sudden, you know, the more you learn, and now it becomes second nature what you learn. And now those deals that you wouldn't have closed, you know, a month ago, now they're easy. Right. You know, and now all of a sudden, man, sales it's a piece of cake. You know, it's verbiage, it's tonality, it's, you know, right. You know, closing, not just taking orders. Right. Same goes on the credit side. There's a ton of secrets there, and there's a ton of I think there's people out there that know, but there's not many people out there that are willing to share. And what I recognize, what Cheryl and myself, is it's like we were repeating ourselves a lot to people. And that's when we decided, like, we need to get this on video, you know, and give this access to people all over the country. And, you know, and that's an idea that you gave me on, like, hey, you need to join, you need to use Bradley, you need to use Lightspeed, right. Because, you know, you're training people, but there's no accountability there. So, like, now when people join us, you know, they get the video on demand, but we can also see who's training and who's not training. And that's what I was doing wrong in our agency for so long. You know, we'd have our Zoom calls, we're training every day, but there's no accountability.
Yeah, right.
You know, and that's really, when there's no accountability, the retention is a lot less.
That's right. And let me tell you something. If you don't think adults need accountability just like kids do, you've lost your mind, guys. I'm telling you, left to our own devices, adults will contract and retreat. They don't need to be left to their own devices. Okay. They don't need to be not managed. They don't need to be not tracked. They don't need to be not, you know, when you don't train, there should be a consequence. When you don't do what you're supposed to do, there should be a consequence. When you don't follow a script, there should be a consequence. And the world will discipline you because you won't sell anything.
Yeah. Right.
You made a decision to go with us on the Monster Cruise this year. Yeah. And I could tell that had a deep impact on you because you were around everybody from Doug Wood to Brad Lee to Greg Kimball to, you know, Hawkins to different people. And that continued to open your eyes. Speak to the people out there to help them understand this. That was not an expense to you. That was getting around big time people. I can't tell you, like, I'm going to be on Tim Story's World Shaker Network on Monday. On Saturday, I was on Pete Vargas's Rise Up Nation. They had over 16,000 people watch it within 2 days. They think 100,000 people will watch the replays of that. They raised $1 million for charity. Like you got to understand, folks, that I believe there's a direct correlation between networks and net worth. I believe your aptitude is higher. I believe your mind is expanded. You know, I'm working from our condo down in Nashville today because I don't know if you can see it right there, but, you know, I'm up on the 38th floor, and about once or twice a week I come down here, mainly for altitude. Because when I get down here and I start looking out, this is the tallest building in Nashville. When I'm looking out at the city, my mind is expanded. I'm like, let's do big deals today. I ain't doing any little bluegill deals. Let's go get something big today. This is what this place does for me. So let me ask you a question for those people watching. Is this an expense to me or is this an investment? See, you may look at it and go, hey, you need to cut out that condo, coach. That's an expense. That's how a little bitty person would think, a little mindset person. The way I think is no. That condo makes me think bigger, take bigger action, move bigger. So you got to really understand what an asset and a liability is. So talk about getting around those big time people and what it did for you.
Well, it did a lot. You know, and now that you mentioned that, you know, I started thinking, you know, what all deals actually transpired on that cruise. You know, Jonathan Hawkins is now doing our marketing for our Max Your Income Academy. You know, that was a conversation that he and I, and Jonathan's he's a unique guy, because if you don't know him real well, and then the first time you're, I mean, he's former military, right? I mean, he's very, like, pretty tough dude. And, you know, the more I got to know him, like, man, this guy would do anything for you. You know, he's willing to help, and his knowledge on marketing is through the roof. So we ended up partnering. Jonathan Hawkins is doing our marketing now. Jonathan Hawkins then signed on to be the chief marketing officer at Lightspeed.
Yep.
So great connection there. Brad Lee, here's what I love about Brad, and Coach, you do the same thing. And this is a big takeaway that I took. I see high level people that stay true to their word. Like whatever they say that they're going to do, they do it. And when you're around a guy like Brad Lee, he's worth millions and millions and millions. He's working with all high level people. And when he says, hey, you and I are going to meet today, sometime, and I'm thinking, man, there's no way this guy's going to make time for me.
Yeah.
And he's texting like, hey, as soon as you're done with that meeting, meet me outside and we're going to go find a quiet spot and we're going to talk business and sales and we're going to get this academy. I really want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we spent a couple hours, and it was a great experience for my wife and I. We were with him and his wife, and to be around them. And now during these tough times, he's calling, he's texting, he's checking up on me like, hey, just want to, how's the family doing? How's the business going? Is there anything I can help you with Lightspeed? That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So that partnership with Brad and becoming, I'm not going to say we're best friends, but we talk quite a bit, and that partnership was great. And then, just a while back, Cody Askins was on the cruise. Cody's been a friend of mine for a long time. And, we that was the first time that we got to spend a lot of time together. And, now I'm speaking at 8% in July, with guys like you, Tim Story, Wolf of Wall Street, all those guys. So investing in, you can't really put a price tag on proximity, right? If you're going to do anything big and get to the next level, you got to put yourself around high level people that are thinking big.
Yeah. And there's a second piece to that I want to draw out there, because we've always grown up here, and it's not what you know, it's who you know. I want to add a third piece to that. When you get in the room, you better know. Because high level people can sniff out if you haven't put the work in, if you're an amateur, right? Like they just know, like the world knows. So
and Brad Lee, one of the first things Brad Lee said was, what's your pitch?
Yeah.
I was like, no one, like he didn't text me like, hey, at 8:00 tonight, I want you to give me your pitch. So be like, you're just ready. Like that is probably the truest statement ever right there. Like it's all in who you know, but you better know once you get the opportunity. Otherwise, see you later.
Yeah,
You're done.
You blow it. I remember when Robert Kiyosaki said he got a call from Oprah Winfrey's producers to be on Oprah Winfrey when he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. And he said, when do you want me to be on? And he was in Hawaii, and they said tomorrow. And he said, at that point, you don't have time to prepare for weeks what you're going to say. When I was on the Pete Vargas thing the other day, I was going to be on Thursday. Then late Tuesday night, they said, be ready to go tomorrow on Wednesday. Then they got to Wednesday, and they said, no, we need to move you to Saturday. Like if they would have said, look, we need you on at 8:00 in the morning, Thursday morning. If I'd have thought, well, I was going to be preparing on Thursday, or Wednesday to get ready, it didn't matter. If you know the material, when the time comes, you show up, you grow up, and you deliver. And that's really what Kiyosaki was saying, is when Oprah calls, you don't say, well, let me schedule it when it's convenient with me.
Right.
You get on a plane and you go. This is the big leagues. You're getting called up to the big leagues. And either you have worked the muscle or you haven't. Either you are prepared or you're not. And that's that long obedience in the same direction. And I really feel like what's happening with you in your career is you're taking all of these past experiences and you're combining them. You're getting crystal clear about what your niche is. You're becoming a better coach. So let's finish up by talking about the structures you use to help your people perform at a higher frequency. Because I believe if you study great cultures, the number one thing people want to know is can I trust that there's no guy in the world better than Todd Turnwald to join his team, because he can get me to a higher frequency, right?
Well, yeah. And I think that the main thing that we're teaching people is their skill set, really develop that skill set. And a lot of the managers and the people that I'm working with closely, I'm trying to share with them, hey, here's what I'm experiencing. Like when I actually applied this and really focus every day, like part of my prayer is, the favor that I'm asking is, please allow me to be the best version of me possible. I didn't always do that. And I'm not saying I was a super bad person by any mean, but I do know, the more you talk about that with your agents and your partners, they start repeating and doing the same thing. And one of the gentlemen that I'm coaching, his sales are spiking, and he's like, Todd, I'm applying what you're telling me. I'm being the best version of me. I'm winning every day. And in winning, that's what we talk to our people about. Everybody's version of winning the day is going to be different. Exactly. It's not always going to be having a bunch of sales, but as long as you can look on your calendar and you did the activity, and at the end of the day, you're the best version of you. And again, if they have one takeaway, that needs to be it, because I can honestly say that wasn't always my focus.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was pretty good, but now just trying to be the best version that I can possibly be. Yep. Celebrate other people's success.
Yep.
Be the, in the coaching call I had this week, be the best version of you. Now I use Optavia. I think you do as well. And they didn't pay me to say that.
Yep.
But I have found, like, if you can get your health right,
yep.
My coach Leanne, I think she's on the call. She's phenomenal.
Yep.
Why did I partner with her? She's very positive. Yep. She had a concept, that she shared with me, and very positive. Okay, I want to be around that.
Yep.
And as soon as I fall off a little bit, she don't scold me, but she does it in a good way. Like, you can do that, but if you continue, you're not going to get the results that you want. And right. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I needed right there. Right. So I think when our agents are around that kind of thinking, I don't know if there's any better training than that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a great place to end. Is, I know at 25 I was a coach that people didn't want to play for, and I didn't win any championships during that period. I knew it. Theoretically, I knew I was teaching the 7 habits, and I was teaching the good to great, and I was doing some good things, but I wasn't that coach that people said, man, I want to run through the wall for that guy. Right. And I made a change. It's old Michael Jackson, a man in the mirror. I made a change. And when I made a change, everything changed. Now, speaking about the health, yes, I'm on Optavia. I went from 191 to 167. I'm at my lowest weight I've been in years.
Yeah.
It's not just about weight. It's about habits.
Right.
About healthy habits. And those habits fuel everything in your life. The energy, the vitality, the vim and vigor, the juice to go do these things, because it ain't easy. What you're doing ain't easy. Coaching this number of people, you got to have energy. You got to have vitality. And so that's why I'm so big on the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit, all 4 parts of a person's nature. So Todd, I'm proud of you. You've done some incredible work. Like I said, you rank up there as either 1 or 2 of the most successful turnarounds in monster history. So thank you for joining me. We're going to share this with people all over the world. We're going to put it on my YouTube channel for thousands of people to see. And, you're doing it, man. You're living proof that it works. So,
well, I appreciate everything that you have a gift. And we both have a mutual friend that has passed, and Don Meyer.
Yep. Yep.
And Coach Meyer was always about when you have a gift, you got to give it away.
That's right.
And I think that's what you're doing. You have a great gift and you're giving it away. And, you learned something at 25 that I'm learning at 42. You're making the change, but I would rather make that change now than never make it at Absolutely. All. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. We're doing a ton of good stuff and helping a lot of great people.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for your time. This has been fun.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of you, big guy. You guys watching, thank you for joining the webinar today. If you got questions, email me at coach@coachburt.com. If you want to reach Todd, tell him where to reach out to you.
Yeah, you can just go right to my website. It's toddturnwald.com, TODDTURNWALD.com. You can message me right there.
Yep.
My number, my website, everything's right there.
Perfect. If you want to reach out for any reason, either one of us do a strategy session, talk, business, life, success, failure, we're open, man. We're here to help people. So Todd, have a great day, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Coach Michael Burt, and the #1 book that I've written over the last couple of years that could help you during these unusual times is a book I wrote called Inside the Mind of a Monster. Now, I want to give you that book. All you have to do is text 678-506-7543. Because when you text that in, I'm going to give you a copy of my book, Inside the Mind of a Monster. And it's going to show you the habits and mindsets of top producers and how they attack every single day versus play defense. Don't you want to play offense? Get this book. I'm giving it to you, and I'm telling you, I'm going to turn you into a legendary creature.